Hey guys, it's Sofia. I am on a journey of self-discovery and self-improvement, like most of us. One thing I've always wanted to do is meet with a speech therapist to get some advice on how to become a better speaker. I speak in front of the camera a lot, so I'd like to improve in any way that I can. I'm not gonna lie, I am pretty nervous about it. Hi, my name is Sofia.
So nice to meet you.
Nice
I'm
to meet you.
Anne-Marie.
Hi, Anne-Marie.
Good to meet you.
I guess I want to get your opinion on how I can become a louder speaker. I feel like I'm very quiet, and also at the same time, I don't feel as confident as I'd like to feel when I speak. I tend to have that little question mark thing
Right.
at the end of my sentences, which I hate and I'm very aware of, but I'm having trouble fixing that.
Okay.
So.
Have you always felt this way about your speech, or was it more once you got into the public eye and people started kind of like making comments or things like that?
English isn't my first language. I moved to America when I was 5 years old, and when I started elementary school, people would point out that, I would pronounce things incorrectly, or I wouldn't really understand their sayings or whatnot. So I knew from a young age that I was a little bit different in that way. So I moved to Oklahoma when I was 18, and people started to make comments on me having an accent that I wasn't previously aware of.
Yeah.
And then getting onto YouTube, I started to hear a little bit more of that.
I know on YouTube the comments can get really mean, but I'm just curious kind of what you've heard or if it's more about your articulation or accent.
Yeah, people have commented. It's probably one of my most frequent hater comment. I guess that's what people call it. And then I started to become a little bit more aware of myself speaking. Not necessarily, well, I guess a little bit insecure,
There are a couple things that I'm just hearing when I listen to you talk that are actually very positive. You don't have a lot of breathiness. Your voice is very pure. The pitch is totally great. The one thing that I can hear a little bit of is something that we call nasality, and everybody has it in different ways. So that means that a lot of the air is going through your nose instead of through your mouth for certain sounds. And so I hear a little bit. It's so mild and not noticeable, but a lot of times when people hear that, they're not sure exactly what that is or why it sounds different. So they might be more likely to kind of like make fun of it or be like, oh, she sounds weird, or call it an accent, or say, oh, you can't say your sounds right, when really that's not what it is at all. It's just this kind of nasality issue.
I don't mind sounding different. Like, I accept my background, my history, and being kind of this like oddball kid.
Right.
So I don't mind sounding different or being different. But I want to be taken seriously still,
Yeah.
So what do you think as, a speech expert? Do you think it would be a good idea for me to kind of keep it or to get rid of it?
That's a great question. So for you, I wouldn't recommend getting rid of the way that you sound so much as practicing using less nasal speech so that you can pull that out when you need it. So if you have a YouTube video and you really want it to sound less nasally, being able to do that without saying my whole speech, my voice needs to change, there's something wrong with it. There's nothing wrong, but just giving yourself extra tools when you need to be able to do that.
So if you're thinking about hypernasality, is when all the airflow is coming through your nose when it's not supposed to be, right? So the way that I like to do it is I like to literally pinch my nose like this, and then say an E vowel, E. Good. And now make that E vowel go through your nose so that your nose vibrates. So it should be like
E.
Can you feel your nose
Yeah.
vibrate? And then pull it back so that your nose is not vibrating.
E.
Yeah. Good. Open that jaw nice and yeah. Good. Yeah.
And the other thing I'll say is, I saw your page when you have like how many followers? A lot, a lot of followers. But the validation that must also come along with it. Yeah, and I'm sure that you get a lot of positive feedback too. And
I do. I have the most amazing audience. They're so loving and giving. So I definitely have way more nice comments coming in for every one comment.
Right.
I try not to focus on it, but still, it kind of stays in the back of your head,
No, I'm sure.
And just makes you more self-aware, not necessarily insecure, because that's negative, but just more aware.
Yeah. But having all these different opinions coming in, and you have to present this image all the time, and just I can't imagine the pressure that you are feeling there. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely been a journey. I mean, I started YouTube when I was in kind of a dark place, I was depressed for the past 3 years, severely depressed. And I basically moved to a new city, had to start a new university, and it was a struggle fitting in and finding friends, and I was alone a lot, And it was just tough. I started YouTube to make friends. That's really why I started. People ask me, why did I start? I always say things like, oh, I wanted to be more creative and whatnot. No, it's just because I felt really alone.
Right.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I have such a blessed life. Like, I'm so grateful for all the things in my life. I have the most amazing, supportive husband that I love, and I have a dog, but at the end of the day, depression is an illness, you know, it really is. And you can't always control that. Like, you do need to get help and seek outside help. Last October, I kind of had a mental breakdown. I really did, and like, a lot of people don't know that, but I decided to see a therapist, and I was in a really bad place.
Right. I'm just curious what contributed to that, if like YouTube at all played a role.
Now, I was kind of in this really boring routine of life, going down this career path that I wasn't really happy with, and so I started YouTube, and I thought that was the way. But then I started trying to please other people, so many different people who you don't even know, and you start to just lose yourself, honestly. Lose yourself, you don't know who you are or what your identity is, and that just caused me to collapse. It was just bad. Like, those 3 years, just bam.
Right. Were you able to like come out of that and start kind of creating content again that you feel connected more to you?
After October, when I got my my first therapy session, it took a month-long break to kind of work on myself and my channel, you know? Like, I love the category that I'm in, and I love the videos that I make, but it was missing Sofia. It was missing myself, and so I gave it this whole new image, and I injected more of myself into it. So I do feel like I've come out of it.
That's great.
So you can see more of me now.
Yeah, I think just starting to be aware and being confident enough in saying that is kind of the first step to really making progress with it.
I agree.
So,
I think the biggest thing I want people to take away from this is to know that they're not alone.
No, yeah,
you know, like, this is a really common insecurity, you know, like your voice or even depression. Like, it's something that people experience, and even me, as many followers as I have, like, I've struggled through it, you know?
Everything that we're talking about, even the kind of emotional piece here, like, I feel constantly kind of like under pressure, overwhelmed. It is, so much of it is mental. Like, I gotta get over this step, I gotta get myself in the right place. Like, for you, going to see a therapist was awesome, and just that kind of continued process of self-improvement, I think, is huge.
Well, thank you so much for all of your insight, and I feel so much better.
Good.
Just after talking
No,
to
thank you for being so open about it.